paths are made by walking. A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us. You are free, and that is why you are lost. I am a cage in search of a bird. Don't bend, don't water it down, don't try to make it logical. Don't edit your own soul according to the fashion. A first sign of the beginning of understanding is the wish to die. From a certain point onward there is no longer any turning back. That is the point that must be reached. The meaning of life is that it stops. In the fight between you and the world, back the world. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. Believing in progress does not mean believing that any progress has yet been made. A non-writing writer is a monster courting insanity. In your fight with the world, beware your own weapons. Every revolution evaporates and leaves behind only the slime of a new bureaucracy. The spirit becomes free only when it ceases to be a support. You can hold back from the suffering of the world, but perhaps this holding back is the one suffering you could avoid. There are only two choices: wait in hopelessness or act with uncertainty. You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen, simply wait. Hiding places there are innumerable. Escape is only one, but possibilities of escape, again, are as many as hiding places. Love is that you are the knife which I plunge into myself. Productivity is being able to do things that you were never able to do before. God gives the nuts, but He does not crack them. Start with what is right rather than what is acceptable. The man in ecstasy and the man drowning both throw up their arms. Association with human beings lures one into self-observation. A cage went in search of a bird. Better to have, and not need, than to need, and not have. A written work is everything or nothing. Truth is indivisible and therefore cannot recognize itself. One of the first signs of the beginning of understanding is the wish to die. You are at once both the quiet and the confusion of my heart. The mediation by the serpent was necessary. Evil can seduce man, but cannot become man. You do not need to accept everything as true, you only have to accept it as necessary. A belief is like a guillotine, just as heavy, just as light. It is often safer to be in chains than to be free. There are some things one can only achieve by a deliberate leap in the opposite direction. My guiding principle is this: guilt is never to be doubted. Life's splendor forever lies in wait about each one of us in all its fullness, but veiled from view, deep down, invisible, far off. Suffering is the positive element in this world, indeed it is the only link between this world and the positive. We photograph things in order to drive them out of our minds. Self-control is something for which I do not strive. One advantage in keeping a diary is that you become aware of the changes which you constantly suffer. He who seeks does not find, but he who does not seek will be found. Evil knows of the good, but good does not know of evil. Writing is a form of prayer. Man cannot live without a continuous confidence in something indestructible within himself. Youth is happy because it has the ability to see beauty. Anyone who keeps the ability to see beauty never grows old. To die would mean nothing else than to surrender a nothing. The decisive moment in human evolution is perpetual. Heaven is dumb, echoing only to the dumb. Hesitation before birth and death requires an intensive will to live. Everything you say is true, but none of it makes sense. All knowledge, the totality of all questions and answers, is contained in the dog. Eternity means constant contradiction and the need to renew constantly. Everyday life is only a thin cover over chaos and horror. Paths are not laid out by mere intentions. My fear is my substance, and probably the best part of me. One can never be as close to another as they can to themselves. Clarity calls for darkness. A man cannot live without a permanent trust in something indestructible within himself. Good intentions may do as much harm as malevolence if they lack understanding. Human existence is a constant state of weariness. A man of action forced into a state of thought is unhappy until he can act again. Anxiety is the mark of spiritual insecurity. Faith is the axe to the frozen soul within us. No one is useless who has a friend, and no one is friendless who knows the meaning of love. Truth lives in solitude, error in society. If you find something precious in yourself, don't lose it. It is impossible to communicate anything exactly as it is. You have only one duty, to save your dreams.